Welcome to the DIY Honda Garage channel. DTC P0369 indicates an intermittent interruption in the camshaft position CMP sensor circuit for the 2008 to 2012 Honda Accord. The CMP sensor is crucial for detecting the position of the camshaft, which synchronizes the engine's timing for optimal performance. It is generally located near the camshaft assembly, playing a significant role in engine management by communicating with the Engine Control Module, ECM, or Powertrain Control Module, PCM. When the DTC P0369 is triggered, it usually reflects issues such as faulty connections or sensor degradation. This error code generally affects vehicle operations like idling and performance stability. The diagnostic process involves checking multiple components and connections to ensure correct functionality. The Camshaft Position, CMP, sensor plays an important role in managing the engine's timing by tracking the camshaft's position. This data is essential for the proper operation of the engine because it allows for synchronized fuel injection and ignition timing. The sensor is generally positioned close to the camshaft assembly, making it more vulnerable to damage or connection issues. The DTC P0369 denotes an intermittent failure in this circuit, meaning that the signal from the camshaft sensor to the ECM/PCM is not consistently reliable. This can lead to diminished engine performance, as the ECM relies on accurate information from the sensor for efficient operation. Troubleshooting is essential to isolate the issue and restore normal function. The possible causes of DTC P0369 include a faulty camshaft position, CMP sensor itself, which may simply need to be replaced. Another potential issue is loose or damaged electrical connections, particularly at the CMP sensor or the ECM/PCM. These connectors can corrode or wear out, leading to inconsistent signals. Additionally, damage to the CMP pulse plate on the front camshaft pulley can also trigger this fault code. This pulse plate is responsible for sending signals to the sensor, so any physical damage could interfere with its function. Thoroughly checking these areas will aid in diagnosing the root cause of the DTC. Symptoms associated with DTC P0369 typically include poor engine performance and irregular idling. The engine may struggle to maintain stability, leading to an unpleasant driving experience. Drivers might notice stalling or challenges when accelerating due to miscommunication between the CMP sensor and ECM. Additionally, the vehicle could fail emissions or performance tests if the engine is not running optimally. These symptoms can vary in severity, often correlating with the degree of the intermittent interruption. Proper diagnosis and remediation are essential to preventing damage to other engine components and ensuring reliable vehicle operation. To begin troubleshooting DTC P0369, first turn the ignition switch to the on position without starting the engine. This action ensures the vehicle's electrical systems are powered, allowing for diagnostics to take place. Next, clear any diagnostic trouble codes, DTC, using the Honda Diagnostic System, HDS, a tool designed specifically for Honda and Acura vehicles. Once the codes are cleared, start the engine and allow it to idle for approximately 10 seconds. This idle period lets the system check for any immediate DTCs that may arise during normal operation. It's important to record any freeze data and onboard snapshots from previous tests for complete diagnosis. After allowing the engine to idle, monitor the onboard diagnostics (OBD) status for DTC P0369 within the HDS menu. This status will inform whether the system recognizes the fault. If the HDS indicates that the status is failed, proceed to Step 7 for further diagnosis. Alternatively, If it shows passed, this indicates that the system may currently be functioning without issues, and you should follow up by conducting a test drive within the parameters of recorded freeze data. If the HDS status indicates not completed, continue idling and monitoring until a result is provided. Understanding these outcomes is critical for determining the next steps in the troubleshooting process. If the HDS states that the system passed, you should then test drive the vehicle for several minutes under conditions that match the recorded freeze data parameters, including engine speed and vehicle speed. This step helps to replicate driving conditions that could trigger the CMP signal interruption. While test driving, it's important to continuously monitor the OBD status for any reoccurrence of DTC P0369, as intermittent issues may only manifest under specific conditions. If the HDS indicates failed during this drive, you'll need to advance to Step 7 to further investigate the underlying issues. In Step 7, check for poor connections or loose terminals at vital locations, including the Camshaft Position CMP sensor, the Engine Control Module ECM, and also at engine and body grounds. Electrical connections can become compromised due to corrosion, vibration, or improper installation over time. A thorough examination of these connections is crucial, as they can greatly affect signal integrity and performance. If you find that the connections and terminals are intact, move on to Step 8. Conversely, if there are signs of damage or looseness, repair or secure these connectors and terminals before continuing to Step 11 to complete the troubleshooting. For Step 8, examine the front camshaft pulley, specifically the CMP pulse plate, for any visible damage. The CMP pulse plate can develop cracks or signs of wear over time, which could prevent the CMP sensor from receiving accurate position signals necessary for engine management. If damage is indeed found on the pulse plate, it will require replacement. It is critical to ensure that any diagnostics performed maintain the integrity of engine components to prevent further issues. Should you find no visible damage, you can proceed to Step 9 for further action. Before any electrical components are replaced, turn the ignition switch to the lock position. Once in the lock position, proceed to replace the Camshaft Position CMP sensor, as this is necessary if no damage has been identified in previous steps. It is vital to use an OEM, original equipment manufacturer part, for replacement to ensure compatibility and reliability. Following the replacement of the CMP sensor, you will need to turn the ignition switch back on to execute further diagnostic procedures, including resetting the Engine Control Module, ECM, or Powertrain Control Module, PCM, with the HDS. Proper installation and calibration will help to restore sensor integrity for future engine operation. Once the CMP sensor is replaced, turn the ignition switch to the on position and use the HDS to reset the Engine Control Module, ECM, or Powertrain Control Module, PCM. This step is essential as it clears any previous codes related to the sensor and prepares the engine for new input signals. After the reset, conduct the ECM-PCM idle learn procedure to ensure that the engine can adapt to the new sensor. This learning process allows the ECM to learn the correct idle speed and fuel trim for optimal performance. Lastly, allow the engine to idle for about 10 seconds while monitoring for any fault codes that may appear in the OBD status. After resetting and conducting the idle learn procedure, check for pending or confirmed DTCs using the HDS. If DTC P0369 is indicated again, this points to a persistent issue in the circuit. You'll need to recheck connections and terminals at both the CMP sensor and the Engine Control Module, ECM, or Powertrain Control Module, PCM. It's crucial to ensure that previous repairs have been successfully addressed. Should you find any new DTCs indicated, follow the additional diagnostic steps for those codes. If no issues are present, troubleshooting can be marked as complete. Final repair verification involves confirming that all repairs have been successfully addressed. It's essential to validate that the new Camshaft Position (CMP) sensor is working correctly and that all connections are secure and free from corrosion. Conducting another test drive under various conditions helps to ensure that the intermittent issue has been resolved completely. The onboard diagnostics (OBD) status should confirm no errors are present. It's important to document successful completion of repairs and findings for future reference. Providing a thorough verification not only boosts confidence in the repairs made, but also supports proactive vehicle management. Preventive maintenance for issues related to DTC P0369 includes regularly checking the connections of the Camshaft Position (CMP) sensor, as well as those of the Engine Control Module (ECM). Keeping electrical connectors clean and free from corrosion can greatly reduce the risk of issues arising from weak signals. It is also advisable to schedule periodic diagnostics checks using the HDS to ensure all vehicle systems are functioning optimally. By adhering to this maintenance routine, vehicle owners can avoid unexpected failures and increase the longevity of their engine components. Planning preventative measures contributes to a smoother driving experience and protects against costly repairs in the long term. In conclusion, a thorough troubleshooting process for DTC P0369 is essential in diagnosing and resolving intermittent interruptions in the camshaft position sensor circuit. It involves systematically checking connections, replacing faulty components, and performing necessary resets and tests. By understanding the role of each component and the importance of proper diagnostics, vehicle owners can swiftly address potential issues and maintain optimal performance. Continuous monitoring and preventive maintenance serve critical roles in ensuring the longevity and reliability of the Honda Accord's engine. Ultimately, these practices enhance driving experience and reduce future repair costs. Please like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.